Hi guys, my name is Dima and I've been tutoring people for IELTS, SAT, TOEFL, Duolingo now for maybe, I don't know, for almost 20 years. And of course I have accumulated some experience, some parts of which I would like to share with you in these videos. And of course, if you need assistance in TOEFL preparation, Duolingo, IELTS, SAT and other, GRE, GMAT, I will not even now name all of them, you're welcome to address me. The link is in the description of the video, and I will help you to get a decent score. So in this short video, I would like to advise you something useful about IELTS speaking. IELTS speaking is a very interesting part. I think overall speaking is a very interesting part in any test, but in IELTS it's very interesting because we have an interviewer, a person, an actual person who is sitting and looking at you, and of course maybe sometimes it plays a bit adverse role because you're excited. On the other hand, it's very nice because you can re-ask, you can, if you don't comprehend something well. So, but it's very distinct and distinguished from other types of speaking on other tests. I will now give you some hint which is very useful if you haven't thought of it before. So what I'm talking about, let's call it introductory and linking elements and redundancy. So a lot of people, when they go to YouTube, for example, and search for IELTS speaking samples, real interviews and everything, they find a lot of them, and even the authors of those videos, they put a high band to those videos. For example, IELTS speaking band 9 or IELTS speaking band 8.5. But when I watch those videos, I clearly see that they're not worth, that speaking is not worth 9. So by far it's no. Maybe probably maximum 6.5 or something like that. And one of the reasons why it's not worth 9 is because the speech sounds very, let's say, rigid, bare, and too concise. You see, the matter is that speaking and writing, they are totally different. The styles. A lot of people, they try to transfer the skills of writing onto speaking and the skills of speaking onto writing, which is a big mistake. So while writing likes concise, concise style and clarity, so that the reader, while he's reading, he doesn't have a hard time to understand what you have written there. I had such a habit. Well, when I was at school, at high grades or something like that, I was prone to write such big, let's say, plump, rich essays with sentences like 10 lines, one sentence, and the teachers praised me for that. So I got accustomed to that. I worked out a habit. And of course, so I was carrying that habit along all my life. But when we started preparing for IELTS with the students, some of them who, like me, liked that habit, they got low grades. Not low, but let's say for writing 6.5. And first we wondered why it happened. And then little by little I came to understand that, the reader, while he's reading your writing, he doesn't like long sentences, very long sentences, because it's difficult for him to memorize the beginning of your sentence, then to understand how the third element, let's say the third clause of your sentence, is linked to the first, to the beginning, and then beginning to the middle, and those introductory phrases when there are too many of them, so it hinders understanding. As a result, the grader will lower your score, because firstly, he has an instruction to do that, and secondly, he's tired of, he's checking, let's say, 50 essays a day, and so why should he try his best to understand what you have done there? But speaking is absolutely another cup of tea, they say, So, for example, let's imagine that you're asked by an examiner, or that you have in IELTS, in the second question, describe something, you have a question. Anyway, all our speaking is linked to a description of something, even if it is an opinion. They are asking your opinion. Anyway, you describe your opinion, you see. So everything in the language is a description. So when you describe something, there are two main modes or ways or approaches to do that. The first one is concise, as I have told you. For example, if you're asked, what animals do you like? Yeah? So such a classic question, and what animals do you like? So a person who doesn't like to talk much, yeah, there are such guys, and there are many of them, especially among men, among males, they don't like to. So they will give you an exact answer, especially based on the truth, on his real inner habits and everything and mentality. He will say, I like dogs, and maybe I like cats also. Yeah. You know, the problem with this answer is that even if your English is very good, for such an answer you will have 5 out of 9, you see? Because there are several reasons. You don't demonstrate the richness of your structures, you don't demonstrate interest in vocabulary, you don't demonstrate natural redundancy. You know, natural redundancy is when you input those elements into your speech which make it more fluent, which make it flow less rigidly and less, make it smoother, you see? Otherwise, if you don't input those elements, your speech becomes like that at the military questionnaire, you see? So let's view another example of what animals do you like. Yes, for example, what animals do you like? And you say, oh, thanks for such an interesting question. Actually, I think that, all my life I've loved cats, because that's maybe because just in my childhood we had several cats, and then when I got married and moved away from my parents, I also had several cats. So I would like to say that I'm a real specialist in those animals, in those mammals. Yes, so cats are wonderful. And also, I would like to have a dog, but at the moment maybe our condition that my flat is not so big, I think I cannot afford to have a dog because they will conflict with my cat. If my cat was a little one, then maybe it would be more or less okay. But so as I have already said, and mostly I enjoy cats and dogs. They are our friends, real members of the family. They're just wonderful. And so I think no matter how old I am, and so I will always have a cat. So you see the difference, yes? I have put here a lot of redundant meaning that we don't need this element because it doesn't convey a meaning. At least it doesn't convey a direct informational meaning, but it conveys my attitude, it conveys my willingness to communicate. So redundant elements, so you should use those elements to get a high score. I read it in several sources and we tried that with my students. The only one little interesting aspect is that you shouldn't overdo it. It's also such an interesting thing that, of course, if you want to put 7 or 10 those redundant elements in one sentence, of course it will sound a bit weird and clumsy, and you will get, again, your score will be lowered in this case. Yes, but so remember that please put 1 or 2 elements. For example, actually, well, I would like to say that another point which I would like to accentuate is that, oh, thanks for such an interesting question. I guess, I believe, I wonder, and so on and so on. A very important also aspect here is that they should sound natural, you see here. So, of course, if you start your sentence and the examiner clearly sees that your brain is working hard, like 100% of its capacity, and selecting just that phrase, and then you input that phrase like a robot. You sound not natural, like you're talking to him, but you sound as if you are trying to pronounce that phrase clearly. Yeah? So then you speak something to the point. For example, I like cats. Yes. Then you put another phrase, which again you're searching for, you're straining yourself, you're exerting yourself, and it's clearly seen. In this case, you will not get a high score because you are clearly selecting the words out of your word bank. So it should sound natural. Natural is one of the very important aspects about which the students forget. And also the students are excited when they come to speaking. Yeah, a lot of them are in such a semi-trance state. They say yes because they're paralyzed, and of course they forget, and so that's what causes them to get not 8 or 9, but by the way, about 9. I heard that if you think otherwise or you have other information, you're welcome to write in the comments that IELTS Speaking, for example, band 9.0 is got by, let's say, 1 in 3 or 4,000 guys. You see? It's amazing, 1 in 3 or 4,000. Maybe I'm mistaken, but for example, I read a nice book by one former IELTS examiner. So he wrote that, for example, in China, I was examining people and grading them at IELTS Speaking. And so I couldn't put 9 out of 4,000 guys, you see? Out of 4,000 candidates, nobody got 9. And one of the most important reasons, apart from pronunciation, is that they didn't use this redundant language. So think about that, please. Watch some videos. I recommend you to watch maybe not even IELTS, those educational videos by some studios and companies. I tell you, they are a bit artificial. They're not natural. They put there that you will have 9 for that, but I clearly see that you will have 6.5 for that, or 6. And that's the problem. You will think that if I speak like that guy, I will get 9. No. So you please watch instead some interviews, real interviews, I mean authentic interviews with some people, like with Bill Gates, I don't know, with some, whichever hero you like. Hear how they're speaking, maybe stop the audio, rewind, try to shadow him, to repeat how he's doing that. And if you do that for several months, or if you have, of course, half a year or a year or something, I promise you, you will get a higher band. So try to copy, to emulate natural English speech, not that artificial one which is presented often in those videos. I'm a professional in that I can distinguish between where the video really renders to you the precious information about how to, or whether the video is like they're doing their best, but I don't know why they highen the score, so they overstate the score for your speaking. I don't know why. Maybe, of course, they want to attract more views. Maybe, yes, I don't know. Okay, guys, so I think that the message is clear. Think about redundant language. Think about how you speak to your friends in the, let's say, at the cafe, yes? When you're sitting and drinking coffee and discussing something, you're not answering like a machine. Yeah. And also, you're not obliged, we will talk about it in some following videos, you're not obliged to tell the truth, of course. Nobody cares about your truth, your outlooks, your philosophical perspective, vantage points, and all that jazz. They're interested in the beauty of your English. So please present it to them, give it to them as it is, what you're capable of in those 10 or 12 minutes. Yeah, maximum 12 minutes. It will fly like 1 second to you. You will not notice even. So it's a good idea to input yourself, to go over the top and get what you're worth. Okay, guys, so you see, soon we will have Christmas and New Year, so I wish you all the best, and of course success at IELTS and other English tests, and see you in the videos to follow.